and Senator Hyde-Smith of Mississippi. Senators Cardin and Murkowski have co-led the bipartisan joint resolution to affirm ratification of the ERA by removing the arbitrary deadline in its preamble. Senator Cardin, could you please proceed with your statement?
Well, first, thank you, Chairman Durbin, and I also want to thank Ranking Member Graham for the courtesy of being able to testify on this bill, and thank you for holding this hearing. I do want to acknowledge the extraordinary leadership of Senator Murkowski on this issue, maintaining the bipartisan support for the Equal Rights Amendment from which we saw from its inception. This is not about any one issue, but it's about putting in our Constitution a lens of equality in judging the actions of our states and laws of our country. Senate Joint Resolution 4 simply states, and you put this in the video, but I want to repeat it because it's pretty straightforward. Equality of rights under the law shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state on account of sex. Quite frankly, most Americans already believe this is in our Constitution. But Congress needs to complete the job and remove any ambiguity. 38 states have ratified the amendment. That's the prerequisite number, 3/4 of the states of our nation. Article 5 of the Constitution puts no time limits on the amount of time necessary for ratification. And I would point out that the 27th Amendment of our Constitution was part of the original Bill of Rights proposed in 1791 and ultimately ratified in 1992, over 200 years later, dealing with the congressional pay issue. Congress established a time limit for ratification. We're unclear of the effect on that. Congress has the authority to remove that time limit. Senate Joint Resolution 4 does exactly that. The prerequisite, the precedent for Congress to declare that a requisite number of states have ratified a constitutional amendment, as the House and Senate did this in 1992 by the resolution affirming the validity of the 27th Amendment. So this is not the first time we see in a resolution the acknowledgement that the prerequisite number of states have ratified the constitutional amendment. And as you point out, there should be no time limit on equality. It is needed to advance equality in the fields of workforce and pay, sexual harassment, and violence protection for the LGBTQ+ community, and so many other areas where this particular provision would provide a strict standard for the courts to apply in regards to laws and governmental policies. The Equal Rights Amendment is all about equality, the most fundamental of American values. 100 years ago, women received the right to vote. And it's been a 100-year struggle to put the Equal Rights Amendment in the Constitution. America's strength is in its values. Mr. Chairman, I would point out that 85% of the countries in the world have some form of an Equal Rights Amendment in their Constitution. And most of our states have some provision against discrimination based upon sex. The U.S. is the only industrial democracy that does not have a protection in their Constitution against discrimination based upon sex. The ERA is important for us to pass in regards to our own protections, but also for America's leadership on our basic values. We got to take care of our work at home first. So on behalf of my wife, on behalf of my two granddaughters and my daughter, and all Americans, let us do what's right to put equality in our Constitution to take a major step forward. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Cardin. Senator Hyde-Smith.